Today I'm going to teach you how to make a sound reactive LED strip. Here's what you're going to need. An Arduino Nano with its cord. You're going to need 7 jumper wires. You're going to need an LED strip. And lastly, you're going to need a microphone. What we're using today is called a microcontroller, and this is also one that we could use along with this one, but we don't need a computer, which is a Raspberry Pi. This is perfect for the project that we're doing today. Secondly, we're going to need wires. These are called jumper wires. They're perfect for prototyping. Unlike soldering wires that would be permanent, these are perfect to take in and out on what's called a breadboard, but we're not going to need that today. We got 3 types of jumper wires. First, we have female to female, we have male to male, and we have female to male. For this project, we're going to need 7 female to female wires. Number 3, you'll need an LED strip. Make sure that this strip has 4 wires coming out of it. The first wire is positive, VCC. The second and third are data, and the fourth is ground. 2 things you want to make sure of. There's an arrow on the strip to indicate direction, and secondly, voltage. If voltage and the arrow aren't on there, you can check the packaging. In this case, DC 5 volts is what we want. Make sure these 2 wires don't touch. This positive, negative, it'll short it out. Also, this is a microphone and has 3 connections. We have data, ground, and 3.3 volts. That's important for later. And 3 things to keep in mind: if the board does not light up and you smell something kind of funny, or it's warm to the touch, then you might want to immediately disconnect it. Also, this is the board you'll be using. The most important pins you want to keep note of is this one, which is 5 volts. Secondly, this is 3.3. This is ground, and these are all analog. Also, if we flip it around, we have ground, we have all these which are digital, and the only digital ones we'll be using are these ones today. These are the wires I'll be using today. They don't have to be a certain color, they don't have to match the colors of the wires on the strip. But first, you want to take a note of that connection, which is ground. If you take a look, these wires basically, if you continue them, connect there. So if we follow that yellow one that we just indicated, ground, G and D, and we take our other one, which is also yellow in this case, we can connect it like this. And then if we follow it down to the very end, we can put it inside the board, which we're looking for G and D ground. Great, once we get it connected, we can go back to the board and connect our second wire. If we look at that connection, under ground is D, DO, which corresponds with the green wire. We'll take our green wire and we'll put it in right under that yellow one that we made previously. We follow that green all the way down to the board. In this case, we're going to connect the green to D3. Awesome, 2 down, 2 more to go. Next is C. C is under green, which is the blue wire. We'll follow that blue down, and just like before, we'll take our blue wire, we'll connect it, and we'll go down the board, and this time we're going to put it into D2, which happens to be in between ground and D3. Great, last one is VCC, which is our power, and which we saw earlier is 5 volts, so that's our red wire. We'll connect our orange there, and we'll find 5 volts, which is 5V on the board itself. In this case, it wasn't connecting, so what I had to do was take it out completely and put a new wire in, which sometimes you will have to do. If that's the case, you can throw that away in a electronic recycling. I put the new wire in, and great, it worked. So we're done connecting the LED strip. Next is our microphone. The first one we'll connect is ground, which is our middle pin right there. I'll take my 3 wires. I'll take my black cord to indicate ground. I'll follow that black one, and there should be another G and D on my board. Awesome, 2 more to go. Next, I'll take my red one, and I'll connect it to VCC, which now we're going to take that red one, and we're going to find 3 volts, which is 3V3 on the board. And that's our positive. Awesome, and last but not least, we'll take our data, which is out, and we'll take that brown cord and put it in D4. And once we do that, we are good to go. Now we're ready to program it. Let's take that blue cord we had earlier and plug it into the computer. Now let's plug it into the Arduino. If it lights up, then that's great. If it doesn't, then there might be a problem we need to troubleshoot. We can also check the microphone itself and make sure that there's a green light lit up, and there is, so that's a great sign as well. If we go to the computer and look up Arduino, we're looking for Arduino IDE, and that's our program we'll be coding in today. If there's code already there, then I would leave it and press this new button up here. And if you do that, then you can just delete what's there, and we'll just copy and paste code in just a second. And we look up our instructables page. We have part-by-part instructions written out, but we also have written out code that we can just copy and paste in just a second. Once you go to the website, you can go all the way down to where the code is, but make sure you copy all of it or it might not work. And once you paste, this next step is very important. If you go to the very top where it says Tools in the tab, make sure the board says Arduino Nano. If it doesn't, we can click Arduino AVR boards and find it there. Next, processor has to be old bootloader, and secondly or lastly, port needs to be COM3 or COM1. Make sure you press upload, and you don't have to save it, you can press cancel. And if you look at the bottom left corner, it'll tell you how it's doing. That's a great sign. So if you want a longer cable, you can go down this bottom drawer in this blue cabinetry and find a longer cable that will work, this USB. This will be easier so it can actually reach the top of the desk. And once you plug it in, and if it works, then that's great, you made it. But before you disassemble it completely, make sure that you upload a clean sketch so the next person that tries this project can do it all by themselves. And you're done. If you need any more instructions, just go to the Instructables website.